Hi, welcome back to Unchained Crochet, to our Safe Haven wrap / scarf. This is clue 4, Embracing Hope. At this point, we just got done with clue 3, and you have got your two pieces sewn together. You've got your bottom of the pocket edge stitched on both sides. And it doesn't matter at this point which edge vertically you choose to do. Just start at one of the pocket corners on either pocket. So I've worked a little bit up for you because I want you to be able to see first off about how well spaced we want this. We don't want it too crowded. We don't want it stretching and flaring. You just want them to lay nicely there side by side. If there's a little bit of a gap here or there, it's not a big deal. And where we place our stitches is really, it's kind of self-evident as you're going across the bottom edge where the ribbing is, and then jumping over the pocket that we have blowing in the breeze right now, and then getting into the lemon peel stitch. That is pretty obvious. So it's when we get up into the cluster stitch, I've had to tweak that a bit, and we'll be doing every other double crochet. We'll be putting 2 stitches in. So we'll do 2 stitches, 2 double crochets around this post, and then a stitch into the single crochet on row 1s. And then the next double crochet you come to, you're just going to do 1 double crochet and then a stitch into the single crochet, then 2 double crochet in the next double crochet, a double crochet into the single. So just look at the double crochet posts. You're going to do 2 double crochets there. You're going to do 1 there, 2 there, 1 there. So it will alternate, because if you do 2 in each one, it just gets too bulky and will kind of flare out. If you do 2 in the double crochet and 2 in the next double crochet and skip the single crochets, you're going to have a little rectangle or a triangle space right there. So this is how I've worked it out. It worked well on the test piece, so that's what we're going to do here. I have also, try not to bump the phone again, I've also switched to I Love This Yarn. I was using I Love This Yarn gradient in the color rainbow for the body of it and the bottom edge of the pockets, but I chose this as an alternative to working with the rainbow across such a long, we got 80 inches here, to go up and down on each side of the wrap. So I didn't want to lose that gradient effect, and for it to get, I think it would just lose the really cool look it has in the body. I think it would distract from that, and it really wouldn't add anything to the edges. So the solid color will really show off the stitch definition of this ribbing that we're going to do. So for the foundation row, we're just going to start over right here. And I'm going to take you up into the cluster stitch, and then I'm going to turn and come back just to show you how to do the ribbing stitch. I'm not going to go all the way across all 80 inches of this on the video. So what I like to do here, you can either do a slip stitch join to your corner stitch right here. Try to get at least 2 strands, or you can get underneath, kind of between the 2 stitches. But you can either do a slip stitch join, it would look like this, and then chain 2 or 3 for your double crochet for your first one. Or I like to do this sometimes, not always, but sometimes. I like to do the standing double crochet. So get your slip stitch on your hook, and holding the knot at the back of the needle. Hold it with your fingers so that knot's not twirling around. And then yarn over, insert into that corner stitch, and do your double crochet that way, holding your finger there so the knot and your wrap is not spinning around on you. And then I grab a hold of the tail with my other hand. So that's a standing double crochet. And then we're going to place another one right there. Just eyeball it and try to make them evenly spaced and get a double crochet into each row. Don't double crochet into the stitch right here where that little chain row is that we made, the ridge of your ribbing. Hop over that and double crochet into around the next one. And then around the next half double crochet. Jump over that chain ridge and go around the next half double crochet. Same thing here. It's a little tight right there. Just so they're nice and evenly spaced without a bunch of gaps and without any waviness to it. So we've done one there. I'm going to skip over that ridge right there. And now we're going to place one right there. It was our first row that we took when we started the bottom edge of the pocket, that ribbing section. So that right there was the first half double crochet row we did. Skipped over that ridge again. So now we've come to where we attached, where we had our fold of the pocket. We're now going to take that pocket and just move it out of your way. You can hold it down with your finger and your thumbs, whatever. And continue on with your double crochet. Go into the next stitch that's available. It's kind of the very next one you'll come to, really. We're getting up into the lemon peel stitch now. So you want to go into the single crochet and go around the double crochets. So every little space you come to there should be about right. Just keep eyeballing it. And if you feel like it's too wavy, you can skip one of the stitches and keep going. When we put our ribbing rows on, you're not going to see a small gap like that. But if it starts to get too bulky, that's what you can do. I'm going to back that one out and put a stitch in before it. And I would say after about 6 or 7 inches, stop and lay your piece down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what I do just to be certain that it's not getting flared. Because you can't always tell that when you're holding the piece up, because of the way you're holding it and the weight of it, it might just kind of flop over and look flared when it's not. Sorry for the extra shadows. I got my lighting set up a bit different because I've moved my selfie light, whatever you call it, my ring light, into the other room today for the other video I did. So stop after a bit and lay it down on a flat surface. Let me get the phone where you can see it a bit better. And just look at it. Mine does look like, if you look at it right here, patted down, it's okay. But there was a spot right here where I feel like it came close to getting a little ruffly. The ribbing is also going to draw it in some around the neck. This is the neck area we're doing, the inner edge. So I'm doing a 2x2 rib, and you don't have to worry about your stitch count. I'll tell you how to work that out later, because we don't want to have to count. And, you know, when you get into the cluster and you're saying, I've got to do 2 in this one and 1 in the next, you know, you don't want to have to be counting your double crochets as you go either. So this is a way to do it intuitively. Of course, we need pairs since it's a 2x2 ribbing. As for me, I don't care if this edge versus the other corner when we get to the other end. Maybe the first 2 here start with front post double crochet, and then the last 2 end with back post double crochet. Nobody's going to notice that. I don't pay any attention to that. So, and if you end up with, you get to the end of your row on your next row, you end up with 3 there, and you've just done a pair of back post double crochet or front post double crochet. You just did a pair, and you've got 3 stitches left. You got an odd number. Just go around 2 of them at once, and put them together, and then do your last stitch. So that can get rid of an extra stitch if you end up having an extra one. This is the easiest way to do it. I can't do an exact stitch count, and who wants to count? It'd probably be like 400 some stitches. at least 280, I would think. Who wants to count that many stitches when we don't need to? This is my way of fudging it. I am still on the lemon peel stitch. When you get about 20 inches in, go ahead and check again. And you can see mine kind of bubbling up right there. So it is barely starting to flare. So I just want to show you the possibility, you know, that you could come across. And I just made it worse fluffing it. See, I'm making it do that. But there is just a bit of a flare. When I pull that back out a little bit, there's some there and there's some there. See that, how they pop up and down? So I'm going to go back here and here, and I'm going to take a stitch out on both of those 2 little segments. This color here and that color there. I'll just take one out here. So I'm going to skip that one I did. Keep your tension tight. That helps prevent, you know, a new gap forming. I'm satisfied with that. You can also just, like, if you feel like yours is too crowded, you can just go ahead and maybe stitch 10 stitches and skip a stitch, skip a spot. I skipped one right there. But you could do that all the way across if that's what you want to do on your lemon peel sections. I'm going to skip one right there because I have a feeling it's going to do it again. You can do it randomly. You don't have to do it every 10, every 8, whatever. Just do it by feel. Skip a stitch if you feel the need to. I'm going to skip that one, I think. Nah, not yet. These are the little arguments I have in my head with myself when I'm stitching, when I'm designing. I just skipped one. Felt like it was time. we're almost to the cluster section. So I'm taking one more last stitch into the lemon peel section. All right, so I'm going to stop again here, and I'm going to lay this down. I think it's pretty good. Can y'all see that? Looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I want to get up into the cluster stitch and then explain what to do when you get to the join, where you join the two pieces together in the middle. So I did one double crochet around that first double crochet. I did a double crochet in the single crochet row. Now this double crochet, I'm going to do 2 stitches there. Going into the single crochet now. I'm going to do 1 double crochet around this double crochet, into the single crochet again, and now we're ready for 2 around this double crochet. Now we're ready for 1 on this double crochet, and back into the single crochet, and do 2 around this double crochet, back into the single crochet, and do 1 around the next double crochet, back into the single crochet, and we're ready for 2 around this double crochet. Okay, I'm going to take one more stitch right here into this next single crochet row and pull up a loop. I'm going to lay it back out again and have a look-see. It looks pretty good to me. This little bit right here, not a huge deal. It's not bowing up. We don't have anything going out looking pregnant. So, and this is also going to, as we do our 2x2 rib, it's going to draw in just a bit around the neckline, down the side, and around the front, I mean. Okay, so keep going across your row. When you get, here's the join. When you get here, wherever you're at with your repeat mantra to yourself, your 1 around the double crochet, 2 around this double crochet, you can plant 1 in this right here, right around there. I wouldn't do it right in the joinery. I feel like that's going to create a gap. Maybe hit the single crochet that's comes first, and then get back to your mantra of, you know, your 1 and a double crochet, 2 and a double crochet, but you're still going to be hitting a stitch, making a stitch in each single crochet row. Just keep alternating the 2 and 1 deal on your double crochets. So do that till you get to the other corner. Don't forget, when you get to your other pocket, you got your pocket flopping in the breeze. Let me get this right edge here. Get the correct one. When you get around to your other pocket, that pocket's going to be hanging, and just hop over it. I've got that yarn stitch marker in there still. Just hop over it, ignore it, and don't stitch into that pocket. We'll deal with that later when we whip stitch up in the final video. So now what we're going to do, you can choose for yourself how wide you want your ribbing section. Mine is about 2 inches. And so it took me the foundation row of the double crochets, and then I'm chaining 2 for my first double crochet. You can chain 3 if you like. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to show you how to do the ribbing. But where was I at? I forgot. It'll come to me. But go ahead and do your chain up for your first double crochet. We're not going into the one that we're right above. We're going to go into the next one. We're going to go around the post. So I'm going to do a front post double crochet. Doesn't matter what you start with, the back post or the front post. It doesn't matter. But that counts as your first pair. All right, this one is just straight up. It's not really bumping out. It doesn't matter. That's at the end. Remember, we're pretending we're at the end of the other side, at the end of the row. So we're going to go now. We're going to do 2 back post double crochets. So you're going to wrap, yarn over, insert from the back between the post stitch you just made and in front of the next double crochet and in between the next one. So you're bringing your hook to the front and reinserting it to the back around that whole post. And we're going to yarn over, pull around that post. And now we've got 3 loops. We're going to yarn over again and go through 2 loops and then yarn over and go through 2 loops again. So let's do that again. We're going to do another back post double crochet. You're going to yarn over, go around your post, over the post, through the woods, to grandmother's house we go. Yarn over, pull around your post. Now you've got the 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 2 front post double crochet and we've got 2 back post double crochet. Now we're ready for 2 more front posts. So yarn over, insert your hook under, go behind that post, and then back through. Yarn over, pull through around the post, and then yarn over and draw through 2, yarn over and draw through 2. So I'm just going to do this one really slow so you can see if you're newer to this type of stitch. So just watch what I'm doing and do what I do. I'll do a couple more for you like that in slow motion. And when I said do what I do, it reminded me of my niece's wedding. My brother had had a few drinks. It was his daughter getting married, and the reception, they had an open bar. And he and I were up there dancing. I can't remember what we were dancing to, probably some 70s or 80s music. And he looked at me. He's usually normally a pretty quiet guy. And once in a while, he'll just spurt out something that's just hilarious. And, you know, because of his personality, it makes it even funnier that he said it. But he goes, "Can't nobody do what we do." He looked at me and scrunched his eyebrows down when we were dancing. He said, "Can't nobody do what we do." So funny. So now you're going to wrap. We're going to do 2 back post double crochets again. Now we're ready for 2 front posts. I chose the 2x2 rib because it doesn't draw up nearly as much. Now we're on the back post. Nearly as much as a 1x1 rib, where you do 1 back post, 1 front post, 1 back post, 1 front post. I didn't want it to curve the piece, curve the whole wrap inward toward the body. I just wanted it to help it sit on my shoulders a little bit. Because I see so many wraps, and I did one recently that's just straight back and forth, half double on the short side, you know, on the going horizontally, that doesn't have any kind of edge around the top. So it doesn't, they're harder to stay on and stay put. So this is enough just to help it stay in place more on your shoulders and not slide off so bad, without making it look like it has a bell curve to it. Sorry, I'm trying to remind myself to slow down for anyone who's newer to this stitch. See how I kind of fold my other stitch back when I'm doing the front post double crochet, and then when I'm doing the back post double crochet, sometimes I'll just fold it down so I can see what I'm doing better. So fold it down with your non-hook hand, and you can get through the spaces just like that. So fold it back with your non-hook hand. And it just kind of isolates that stitch some, the one that you're wanting to get at and go around. It gets the extra stitches out of the way. But that is a good little trick if you're newer to doing these post stitches. So keep going until you get to the other end of your other pocket corner. And then you're going to turn, and I will meet you at the corner, at my corner, because this is just a sample section for you to see. Okay, I've made it back to the corner where I started, and I just happen to have an even number of stitches, so I've got 2 left to do. They're both back post double crochet, and I go ahead and do on that last one, I go ahead and go around the post. You don't have to. You can, but it's not imperative. So this also gives it sort of a basket weave effect. You can see right there the tops of the double crochets of the posts we went around on the back post double crochet. All right, so that was your first row of your rib stitch. Now you're going to turn and you're going to go back. And what we want to do, well, we need to get more yarn out first. What you want to do is take a couple chains for your double crochet. That counts as your first double crochet, so skip that. And you're going to go, whatever you come to, whatever it looks like, that's what you're going to do. So from the other side, these 2 were back post double crochets, but from this side, you see how it's flared up? If it's a front post looking, then do a front post. Now here we've come to that little, these were front posts on the other side. They're going to be back post. This keeps your vertical, well, the way it's situated right now is vertical. It keeps that continuous. That creates that rib effect. If you did your first row and you decided it's not drawn up enough, you might tighten your tension a little bit on your next row. And I'll draw it in a little bit further for you. It won't do its job if it's not actually giving you the ribbed effect. Flared ribbing does you no good. On my test piece, I actually got to this 3rd row here, the 2nd row of the ribbing, and realized I had done 4 of the same stitch the same. So I didn't have a pair here and a pair there. I had 4 all in the same stitch, all front post or all back post. So I just went ahead and left it like that. I don't know where it is on the neckline, and I don't care. But there's just one little part where I had done one when I should have done the other. Nobody's going to notice those little things but you. And you'll probably notice them right after you make them. You'll wear your garment and you'll be okay with it. If for some reason you get all of your ribbing edge done here and it looks a little too tight for you, and you're using acrylic yarn, I'm going to tell you what I tell you all the time. Hit it with a little bit of steam on your steam iron and just kind of press it out just a bit. Just lightly tap it with the iron. You can pull it gently with your hands just to open up that ribbing just a bit. And then it won't be quite so tight for you. I lost some lighting somewhere. That's weird. Okay, it's still recording. All my lights are still on. Weirdness. Maybe the flash went off on the camera. Okay. The show must go on. So right now, I'm just going to pretend that I've gotten to my other corner, my other edge. I'm not even going all the way back down that second row. All right, we're on our third row. It's actually the second row of the ribbing, because the first row didn't count toward the ribbing, since that was just plain double crochet. And so I'm going to turn. I'm going to take my couple of chains. I'm going to skip that first stitch. So I've come to a front post. I'm going to do a back post double crochet. I'm sorry. A front post. Back to the original that I called it. Front post double crochet. Back post double crochet. Normally I'm just stitching away and don't explain it, and I don't even, I barely look at it. I just know I just do what I need to do. I might call it the wrong thing, but I'm doing it right most of the time. So this is our third row of the rib stitch. And this is as much as I put on my test piece, was the 3 rows of ribbing. 4 total if you count the foundation double crochet row. The setup row. I see my camera's getting a little out of focus. This ribbing in the worsted kind of wears my right hand out. I'm starting to get a little carpal tunnel worked up. My hands, my fingers are falling asleep. take your time on this section here, on this clue, because this is it for this clue. Okay, so that was the last one. And then you will pull up a chain, just like you usually do. Leave a long enough tail to weave in, and cut your yarn. So that is how tall I wanted mine. I didn't want that to take center stage. I don't want it to distract too much from the body. Just to give you an idea. My little thing keeps wanting to retract. It's not supposed to do that. It is about 2 inches tall, wide, whichever way you want to do it. But that edge is about 2 inches. And that's how it was on my sample piece. So that's how you do your ribbing. It makes a nice chunky edge to it. And you're going to do that. Oops. Oh my goodness. I have to edit that out. You're going to go do that ribbing section, corner of the pocket to the next corner of the pocket. And then meet me back here for the next clue video, where we're going to hop over the pocket on the other edge. This is the arm edge. And we're going to do another pattern along here. So that's the end of this clue. Thanks for tuning in again. Please share. I don't care about how many subscribers I have. Like, I don't care if I have 500 or 500,000. It would be great to say, as my daughter used to call it when she was a kid, poplar. It would be great to be poplar. But, you know, my channel right now, the size is okay for me. But I feel like there's like not very many people making my projects, my tutorials that I spent so much time on. So I want some people to get on here and start making some of my stuff. Just so it was worth all my time and effort. Doesn't that look nice? I like that together. I like the colors together. It looks a little bit greeny. It's more of a beige or tan. So I like it with that other yarn. It's a nice neutral. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.